His goodness.
Rewards for being obedient.
Rewards for being obedient.
His love.
His love.
Display of his favor.
Display of his favor. There it is. All right. Well, all those are correct. And that is this point here. On the whole, there are spiritual events that he allows to transpire in our lives to enhance our special holiness. Okay? Everything he allows to happen in his good favor and his will to enhance our special holiness. Now, at face value, not every blessing is obvious. That's why a lot of times we look back and say, that was a blessing what? In disguise? You heard before? Yeah. So why am I going through this? What is this for? And then you get down the road and look back. Yep. Blessing in disguise.
And some people take for granted their blessings.
That's true. That's true. That's true. And they become unthankful. Yeah. We can't take our blessings for granted. Now, as we hold on to things which we desire, they are not profitable. We will eventually hit a ceiling we do not possess beyond. And strength will fail in our lives. We have to allow ourselves to be constrained, okay? Because we're going to go through lots of things where our flesh, that we had an elastic suit on. And there are things our flesh is going to have to suffer. I mean, really suffer. And it'll feel so easy to take that elastic suit off and say, okay, this is it, I'm done. I'm like the rich young ruler. I reached my breaking point. That's what we need to be constrained. That constraint adds more, security. So we have that elastic suit and then another suit. So now it's even harder to get out. And we're being more committed. We are increasing our commitment by having constraint. Act of pledging or engaging oneself in no. Lack of commitment is a primary reason why such a few number actually master temperance. Not committed. That's the bottom line. There's a lot of people who in the church circuit can go back on the Lord or backslide or regress or what have you, just because mainly they're not committed. Speaks to fair weather friends, lifetime friends. When things are good, I guarantee you'll have a whole bunch of friends. But as soon as things get bad, you don't have so much money anymore. Look at these professional sports players. You hear so many times where, they're still in their 30s, right? Or, still young men for the most part. And they're bankrupt. I guarantee you they have less friends now than they did when they had all the $5 million contracts and were living the high life and that stuff. Because they have a whole other fair weather friends. We want lifetime friends. And we need friends who are committed to us. Commitment allows us to remain engaged in our quest in spite of the challenges which remain. And the final point, practice makes perfect. Okay? By committing ourselves and being committed to our cause, we will be perfect. Okay? Now, let's also doing this, but this is the primary identity of temperance. Okay? Oftentimes we feel like we have a right to be upset about a matter because we've been done wrong. Yet we must keep things in perspective. Okay? The Bible says in Hebrews 12:3-4, it says, essentially that consider the Messiah who endured such contradiction of sinners. But then it reminds us that we have not resisted unto blood. Okay? Keep things in perspective as you're suffering in this way. Question: why must we subdue our flesh? Why is subduing our flesh so important at this juncture?
Well, we must keep it under wrap, like Paul said. The flesh is constantly trying to override us, the spirit, And if we don't keep that under wrap, then everything just reverts back to where we lose everything that we've gained.
Yes, sir. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. The flesh at this point is continually trying to get back in the driver's seat of our lives. And it's the greatest threat to our ability to remain liberated from sin and our sinful nature, or as contrary to the spirit. So it must be subdued. Okay, I'm going to show you why in the next slide. Failure to subdue the flesh will lead to hedonism. Hedonism is essentially the law of our world. It's the doctrine. Anything that is pleasant or good is what we should seek after. Anything that's bad is controversial, that would require the flesh to have to suffer. We should avoid those things. Okay, that's hedonism. The majority of our world believes that. They want to, now I watch TV shows. I don't watch TV, hardly. But I was watching one show, and a talk show, and this woman asked this man, she says, how do you indulge yourself? I'm like, why does that? I mean, I'm just, in my mind, I'm just thinking, why would I want to indulge myself? But see, that's the way the world thinks. How do you indulge? How do you pamper yourself? Okay, so that's why it's like to be pampered. We like to have it this way. In the scriptures, these folks are called Epicureans because the man who formulated this doctrine was Epicurean. And I have a pretty a good section in my book about that, but there's no time to discuss it tonight, so we're going to keep going. So doing the flesh is the first step to achieving balance. So the first thing we have to do to be balanced is to do the flesh. Remember, we're transferring preeminence from the flesh to the spirit. And since the flesh is out of control and is not meant to be controlled, the first thing we must do is subdue it. Okay? Keep them down. Let's talk about this kid here. And their original relationship, the flesh dominates the soul. Okay? The flesh is in control. Okay, he's the main player in our life. But what happened was, and this makes him our greatest enemy, excuse me. So it's not Satan, folks. Satan is our enemy, yes. But our greatest enemy is ourselves, our own flesh.
That's right.
Okay? And Pastor Daughtry has a really good example about this. The reason why your flesh is so formidable against you, because your flesh is you. Fighting your flesh is like fighting yourself. You know yourself. Every time you try and do something, an attack, your flesh saw it coming. So every time the soul tries to go against the flesh, he's defeated. Every time. And we live a life contrary to the Father's righteousness. So he dominates. And wherever the flesh says, essentially it goes. He's in control. So what we did was, we received the Holy Spirit. Okay? And we began the process of breaking this inherent relationship between our flesh and our soul to put the Spirit in that position. So where the Spirit has all those arrows, so all of its wills and direction are being prescribed to the soul. Then what we did was we released the first three powers, the first 6 powers of the Holy Spirit: faith, virtue, wisdom, knowledge, godly fear, and obedience. And that's where the soul is now amplified. See that red square around there? Now the soul is protected. Okay? So what happens now? You see those arrows? Those arrows are still coming. Okay? The flesh still fights. He still wants to be in control again. And now, because we have entered the spiritual sphere of existence, the warfare has intense. So if things stay like this, folks, I'm pretty sure over time, when we don't move up, that flesh is going to find a way to break through that perimeter and cause the soul to go back to where it came from. And he's going to reclaim dominance. Okay? So what happens is, we get this guy. We get another hero. And what this is, Temperance is our strong man of war. He plays a critical role because our flesh will consistently put pressure on our soul to return to the way of sin. Therefore, the flesh must be subdued. So, by subduing the flesh, all those arrows and that consistent pressure that we were still feeling, even though we had mastered all the 6 degrees of power, now it's gone. Through temperance. Temperance takes that flesh and he pins them. Okay? You understand that? You seen that? Okay. So now he's subdued, things are going to get progressively easier for us. Okay? Any questions? All right, we'll keep going here. Our last slide here. Let's talk about attaining temperance.